I'm a Ben Simmons guy over a Donovan Mitchell guy. Some of it's just size. I mean, Ben Simmons is 6'9.5" and 235. They just don't make point guards that big. When Magic Johnson broke into the league, instantly I'm like, that's the next great player. He was a 6'9", 220-pound guard. Donovan Mitchell is the same size or smaller than most of the league. Doesn't mean he's not dynamic. But one of the reasons LeBron's just better than everybody, he's just stronger and bigger than everybody. Some of it's just DNA. Tiger Woods broke onto the tour. You're like, oh, he's just longer off the tee than everybody. Jack Nicklaus, Golden Bear, he was just bigger and stronger than other golfers. Usain Bolt was just the biggest, strongest sprinter who happened to be really fast. Like whenever I'm guessing, it's like the NFL draft. Yes, you can give me Russell Wilson. Yes, you can give me Drew Brees. But Baker Mayfield's size historically is not dominating this league. Big Ben 6'6". Cam. Manning was 6'5". Elway was big. Marino was big. Troy Aikman's big. If you go look at the history of the NFL, the great quarterbacks have mostly been 6'3" and up. You can give me the outlier, but in the NBA, of your many dominating players, Wilt, Kareem, Akeem, Magic, Shaq, Duncan, Bird, LeBron, they're big athletes. Ben Simmons is a 6'9.5" point who played rugby. He is 235. He is stronger than Donovan Mitchell. And that doesn't mean I don't love Donovan Mitchell. But if you go look at who we embrace, it doesn't matter if it's golf, it doesn't matter if it's track and field, it doesn't matter if it's football. Big, strong is what Nick Saban's recruiting. It's like length. If you look at what Kentucky and Duke are recruiting, they're not always the most skilled 18-year-old basketball player, but they're the longest. They're the quickest. They're the fastest. They're the strong. Like Marvin Bagley. I'm not exactly sure how he's just bigger and stronger than most kids his age. Bigger, stronger, longer. So, don't outthink the room. Like Doug Gottlieb 2 years ago at the Super Bowl, and when everybody was criticizing Ben Simmons, I'll remember this moment.
He is the best one-and-done prospect. One-and-done prospect. LeBron's the best prospect. Best one-and-done prospect we've had. Because he checks all the boxes. If you combine some of the aspects of LeBron, some of Magic, and then some of Lamar Odom. He's left-handed, but does everything right around the basket, passes with either hand. He's going to make whatever team he goes to better immediately. He's a superstar. He's a transcendent pro.
Okay, this is not just, we're watching and now we have an opinion. And I remember when Ben Simmons got drafted. And I remember this, you guys, we brought on these draft experts. And he wasn't playing well at LSU. And there were rumors that he wasn't coachable. There was a lot of those. He can't even get his team into the NCAA. And I kept saying over and over, they don't make human beings like that. They don't make 6'9.5" points that are strong. This kid is so physically strong at 235, 6'9". He's already an elite defensive player. Not entire games, but there are moments when he checks up on a guy and you're like, oh, no, he shut that guy down completely. So some of this is just eyeball. When Donovan Mitchell's on the court, he's a small athlete. He's dynamic. He's profound. He's a small guy. He goes into the paint. He's the smallest guy. Ben Simmons is finishing at the rim over bigs, and he's jamming it. Like he is towering over other 6'5" guys, towering over him. I mean, you start looking at the best players in NBA history, not a lot of 5'11" guys, not a lot of 6'3" guys. You say, what about Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan lifted weights every day during the season. Michael Jordan was incredibly strong. He also had a 43-inch vertical. He also had abnormally big hands. Michael had some physical gifts that just most players didn't have, don't, and never will. Christine with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Yesterday, there were reports that Steph Curry would miss 3 weeks, but now Steve Kerr is saying, hold on, not so fast. That's not necessarily true. We have no timetable.
It was probably a miscommunication when we met before the game, so we don't have any timetable for this. I'm not exactly sure what that was about.
That actually sounds worse. The fact that they have no timetable when it said 3 weeks at the beginning. I'm not saying that that's for sure what it is, but If you're just listening to Steve Kerr, he's making it sound like it's worse.
Yeah, they've been better than I thought they would be in the playoffs. Their defense is cranked up, and they look great.
I think now, too, that they see what's going on in the East, they're like, let's keep him out for a while.
Yeah.
Let him really get healthy.
Well, I mean, at one point this year, I mean, Kerr was honest. Kerr's like, listen, we're battling some fatigue. We're battling some boredom. It is very difficult now that players have $150 million net worth, and they've got tailors and accountants and maid, and they don't do the day-to-day things that back in the 70s and 80s you still did laundry. There's pictures of Michael Jordan ironing his clothes. The service industry's exploded, so these guys sit around, they make a fortune, they've got rings, they got titles, they got everybody doing their stuff in life. They're not going to the grocery store like Larry Bird did. I think a lot of times these guys, after they win a couple titles, they're bored. They kind of fall in, they go to their phones, and they're like there are times with LeBron in January, I'm like, he is bored out of his mind. He's sitting home. He's got one game in 4 days. So these guys, and then they get into the playoffs, and you're like, oh, crap. They flipped the switch. They look great again.
Except for that didn't happen with the Cavs.
They just don't have good enough players.
Melo, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook last night, I don't like to say this, were combined over 14 in the fourth quarter. It's not good. Not good at all.
It was bad.
Here's Russell Westbrook on that.
We just got to be aggressive. Make shots. Shots are going to fall. Those guys are unbelievable scorers, and we trusted in those guys all season long, and we will continue to do that.
I think he looks great, by the way.
Okay.
Are you criticizing
I'm not criticizing his dress. I asked what it was. It looked like
It's a jacket, like a tuxedo
tuxedo.
jacket.
Okay.
He can't wear that?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
He's dressing professionally.
Okay.
You got Baker Mayfield with his shirt off. You just can't win.
No, it's fine what he wore. It's fine.
Okay. So here's the thing. They were 0 for 14, but are they supposed to stop shooting? Those are the best guys on the team. It's fine that they have an off night. They can't stop shooting.
It's not stop shooting. It's make more shots.
Well, okay, that's easy to say, but sometimes you have an off night. Do you
we
think
have
they don't want it? Are they not trying to make their shots?
No, I do think Westbrook in the last 2 years of playoff action has proven a point, which is he is pretty rambunctious in the fourth quarter. He's not a very good fourth quarter player last 2 years. I'm just taking the numbers I have. I'm not making anything up. But I think we had him earlier today. We showed Russell Westbrook's numbers in the fourth quarter in all the playoff games, and he is not, there's the old saying, coffee's for closers. He has not been a great closer in the playoffs.
I just don't like the idea of telling a guy to not shoot.
No, I mean, a shooter's got to shoot. Now, I would argue this. I don't think Westbrook's an elite shooter. I don't think he is. I think he's an elite athlete. I never thought Derrick Rose was an elite shooter. I thought he was an elite athlete. So here are the numbers, last two postseasons. I'm not making anything up. He's not an elite shooter. And in the playoffs, when people play defense, he's really not an elite shooter late. He's an elite player, but he should be doing more passing, more setting up others.
Here's one thing I know. Stats can always be altered to fit your argument.
Not always.
Yes, they can.
If you're terrible, they can't make you look like LeBron.
If I had some stats right now at my disposal, I could probably prove you wrong.
All right.
And finally, this is the craziest thing. So have you paid attention at all to the hockey playoffs?
A little bit, because the Vegas story's interesting.
Yeah, so the Golden Knights just swept the Kings.
Yeah.
Who knew that was coming? Oh, yeah. Vegas music.
This is amazing,
I have to go there tomorrow to Vegas. I was hoping to catch a game, but they don't need to play one because they swept the Kings. So they opened this season with 200-1 odds to win the Stanley Cup.
Yes.
Not good. They are now 4-1 favorites with the Nashville Predators tied to win the Stanley Cup.
It's amazing. It's like an expansion team is going to win the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, their lines are actually not that amazing. They just have really good chemistry. So it's a cool story for Vegas, and who knew that hockey would be so successful. Do you remember back in the days when they were first putting this team together and talking about what their mascot or logo was going to be? I wanted it to be the strippers.
Yeah.
For the Vegas Strip, not the strippers, but the Vegas Strip.
Guy, call them the Strip.
The Strip, yes.
Yeah. By the way,
Golden
the
Knights
other
works,
great
too.
team this year is another warm weather destination, Nashville. So it's Vegas and Nashville.
Nashville does well usually.
The real hockey town.
I feel like Nashville's fans are very supportive of their hockey
It's a
team.
great sports city, but it's funny that Vegas and Nashville are now
it's
hockey
hot.
town America.
I miss the days when Chicago was. I know.
Yeah, Chicago's a great hockey city. Christine with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd
Wouldn't you
Line
love a
News.
bigger tax refund? TaxSlayer, highest rated for maximum refund. Slay at MaxYourRefund, TaxSlayer.com. 14 years in the NBA, played for a lot of different teams. Actually, the most in NBA history, 12. So nobody knows locker room dynamics like our friend Jim Jackson.
Right.
You know, it is interesting. You played in a lot of locker rooms. So I threw this at Chris Broussard. There is this belief that, well, when the season's over, if LeBron, everybody in Philadelphia would want LeBron. And I'm like, no, time out. If Ben Simmons gets the Eastern Conference Final, and I'm Ben and a rookie, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, I know how LeBron plays, and I know how I play, and I'm not a spot-up shooter. Jim, why would Ben Simmons hand over the franchise to LeBron?
He wouldn't. I don't care if they don't get to the conference final. They get eliminated in the second round. Why, if I'm Ben Simmons, would one, I want to be labeled as I got to the finals because LeBron got us here.
Exactly.
And then second, too, because of the way he plays, Ben Simmons, now the ball is out of my hands. LeBron is, yes, in the twilight of his career, but still playing great basketball. Would he be at this high level next year? We don't know. But one thing he can't do is transition over and play the post because he really didn't develop that part of his game, or a catch-and-shoot player. I think the player that makes a lot of sense is Paul George.
Oh, for Philadelphia?
Yeah, for Philadelphia.
They need another spot-up shooter.
But they need another guy that can go off the dribble and really beat you. But if I'm Embiid, now, you know, if I'm Embiid and I'm Simmons, it sounds great. But if I'm management, what I'm looking at is, okay, all we need is one or two more pieces, okay, to really complete this puzzle. These young guys are growing, and plus we need to have some kind of insurance policy just if Embiid can't play all the games.
Right.
But I think LeBron hampers in this situation just the growth of where Ben Simmons wants to go. Because right now it's his team.
Yeah, and listen, man, and I always try to personalize this. The show's called The Herd, right? In my young days when I was 27 and developing this, when I really needed reps, I wouldn't have given my show up.
Right.
Now, as I've gotten older, I can bring people on. I can be on Speak for Yourself. I can be in the Fox Sunday show with multiple people. When I was starting out and needed reps, Ben Simmons is starting out. He's building his legend. It's not like he inherited Kareem like magic, and Kareem was still great. Like, this is Ben's team. I just don't see him handing it over to LeBron James.
Well, and you just said it, that with your show, it's still your show. That's like LeBron staying in Cleveland and bringing in a higher-end superstar or somebody else, saying, you know what, I've been here, I've done that. Now I'm going to play the background a little bit, but it's still my team, so to speak. But I'm bringing in younger guys or somebody else that can complement. With Ben, and I said this about Andrew Wiggins, when they traded him. Everybody was like, well, no, that's a bad trade. I said, no, it's not. It's not a bad trade for Andrew Wiggins because with Kyrie there, Kevin Love there, and LeBron, Andre Wiggins, his progression and growth would have been stymied because he wouldn't have been in the fourth quarter in a lot of games to have the pressure. He wouldn't have been relied upon to make certain plays during the course of the game. So his game wouldn't have grown as much as quickly by being there with those three guys.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things, like, and I was just saying this a couple minutes ago. People think I'm nuts because yesterday I said LeBron's still great, but I don't feel like the league is beholden to him. Yeah. When Michael Jordan retired, you know, they just didn't have a guy. And then about 6 years later, they started finding guys. Like the Lakers got good, all that stuff. But I look at the dynasty Golden State, Houston. I look at Ben Simmons. Boston next year is going to be a 60-win team if everybody's healthy. I don't feel like the league is backed into a corner. Like if LeBron loses to Indiana, I think Philadelphia is fascinating. The West is fascinating. Yeah. OKC Jazz, that thing's going to go 6-7 games.
Yeah, it'll be different if you don't have LeBron in because we've seen it for the last 6-7 years, of course. And I agree with you in regards to on the court stuff, the way the NBA has grown. And I go back to what David Stern did in the 80s when the league was drug invested. It had its, championship games was on tape delay. He started looking at how to market not the front of the jersey, but the back, individuals and stars. Okay, but I think LeBron's effect, keep in mind of this, Colin, Michael Jordan had an effect international on the growth of the game.
No question.
Okay, it was unbelievable. So did Magic and Bird in regards to the, early 80s. But no singular player has had the effect on the game as much as LeBron from this perspective. Think about it if you're a player. Okay, now you have fewer back-to-backs. Training camp is a lot different. a lot of things change in regards to rest. A lot of things change because of LeBron James and his voice.
By the way, here's another thing. It used to be if you left, you were disloyal. Now we look at guys and go, Paul George has got to go.
Exactly. He got to. So who else? We talk about talent all the time, and what we forget is that what LeBron has been able to do globally for the game, but for players.
Yes.
And now the superstars that are coming up, do we see Ben Simmons playing that kind of role? Does he have that kind of cachet? Does he have that kind of power? We barely hear him talk now. I mean, so I don't know if there's a player that takes that role from LeBron James.
Yeah, this is a good point. Ben is not verbal.
Right.
First of all, nobody's got Magic's personality, and he's probably not as manipulative and global thinking as LeBron, who's always been a business guy from, like, it feels like since 17.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about on the court, and I said this about 10 minutes ago. If you go look at most NBA great players, a lot of them are just bigger, stronger. Magic was a 6'9" point. Wilt was the first dominant player.
Right.
Then it was, if you look at the league history, Simmons is I watched Donovan Mitchell. He's a small athlete, but great. I watched Simmons. He is 235, played rugby. He's finishing at the rim over bigs. I just look at his game, and I'm like, Jim, I'm not going to argue with what my eyes tell me, which is Simmons is different than all these young guys.
He's different. He has a different feel. He has a different swag. He has a different when he walks on the court. Now, here's the thing. The thing I love about him, and you talking about guys love to play with LeBron, man, put me on the team with Simmons too, because all he's going to do is this. He's going to get me open, okay? He's proven that he can score when he wants to. Now, again, he's still young, so will a jump shot come? Does he have to be a knockdown three-point shooter? No, but he has to have the ability to stretch the defense, okay?
Yeah.
And I think his willingness to understand that it's Embiid and my team, okay, but I still got to get mine when I need to, but I got to get guys involved. That's the unselfish nature of a superstar that you want to be around and you want to build around.
Here's we were talking about this with the Lakers, is that I don't think Golden State wants him if they win. I don't think Houston needs him if they win.
Right.
I don't think Philly needs him if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. So everybody says the Lakers need him. But here's the thing. LeBron don't want to practice anymore. Mm-hmm. LeBron leaves awake when he leaves. Okay, the Lakers for the brand, they're selling out games. They don't need LeBron for the brand. Mm-hmm. The Lakers brand's the best brand in the league. Okay, he leaves awake. They love Luke Walton. He's brutal on coaches. By the way, the growth of Brandon Ingram, who popped last year, that's going to – there is this belief that the Lakers are desperate for LeBron. Let me ask you, you run the Lakers today,
right,
and you could get Kawhi or LeBron. Remember, you're selling out your stadium. I'm not saying the Lakers wouldn't be better, but
yeah,
I got to sign LeBron for 5 years, Jim?
I know, and that's the challenge because you don't want to be that guy that doesn't do it, that gets a Kawhi or gets a Paul George singular, and it doesn't work because LeBron is a no-brainer. When you're talking about management perspective, you got to make the tough decision in regards to short-term, long-term. What are we trying to do here? If we get LeBron singularly, does that put us over the top to beat Houston and Golden State?
I don't know if it –
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does.
You know what I mean?
So I'm giving you my franchise and not getting titles.
So, and how does it affect the growth of the growth of my young players? How does that affect that? You know what comes along with having a LeBron James. Forget on the court, off the court, his demands and what he needs. He's a superstar like no other,
yes,
okay? And you have to be willing to deal with that.
Jim, isn't it come down to this? If LeBron can't get me a title, and I don't think LeBron, Lonzo, and Brandon beat Golden State, maybe, or Houston, why am I doing it then?
Well, not at L.A. At L.A., you made the point of this. The Lakers are still selling out. This is a Laker town.
And LeBron's not giving me the upside, but I got to deal with.
If I'm in Milwaukee, if I'm in Miami, if I'm in another market that just needs to have that cachet, okay, I got LeBron. But in Philly, you don't need him in regards to selling that out. So why get him?
See, this is my thing. LeBron's great when he was the meal ticket. Remember 3 years ago, we were like, put him on Brooklyn, they win the title.
Exactly.
He may not get out a first round in the East against Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, I mean, let's say if he doesn't, it goes 7. So he's not even a meal ticket. I don't think they're winning the East. I mean, I'm watching this team and I'm like, they're not very good defensively.
Listen, but Colin, at the beginning when they brought in Isaiah, Dwayne, at the time I said that team is not good enough to beat Golden State, okay? Period.
Yeah.
They make the changes. Ty Lue came in on the news saying that the other guys got to play better. I agree. But your expectation level for better is what? Okay? Kyrie could get you what you needed.
Yes.
Now, the thing I love about Kyrie was this. Maybe not always scoring, but because he was such a threat off the dribble, defenses had to collapse and do things. Who else besides LeBron that really consistently
can't?
So LeBron is carrying the load. You're trying to squeeze all of this stuff out of a turn-up, basically, with all the other players saying you got to play better. I agree. But there's only so much they can do because their games are not built around being that second guy.
No, they're not. Jim Jackson, good seeing you, bud.
Got it.
The idea of falling into bed at night's taken on a whole new meaning since I started sleeping on a Casper mattress 3.5 years ago, fastest-growing company for a while in America. Casper ships the mattress to you for free, lets you sleep in it for 100 nights, and if you don't like it, they ship it out, pay you back, give it to a charity. 3 different mattresses. They have the Wave mattress, 36 different pressure points. The Casper mattress, 1 million customers own it. And the Essential mattress is great innovation at a terrific price point. They're all designed with zone support to comfort and coddle your every move. Take the 100-night sleep challenge. Does any company even do this outside of Casper? Casper.com code HERD, H-E-R-D. That gets you $50 off a select mattress. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details. Casper.com code HERD.